Okay, so today we're going to go ahead and move forward with our notes. So this is going to be topic number 8, invasive species, and then fill in today's date. So invasive species, some of these you may have heard of before. We've talked before about pythons in the Everglades. You have surely seen fire ants before. These are an invasive species. And even the lionfish. And I have a video clip I'll share with you about this one. These are all invasive species. Even one you may have heard of more recently, the murder hornets. Those are invasive species. So if you've heard of any of these things, and some of these we've talked about in class, you know that it is something that doesn't belong. It's new, it's in a different environment where it's able to thrive and it doesn't need to. So we're going to look at that information today. So question number 1, so this should be on the next available page you have on the right-hand side, invasive species, topic number 8. Again, today's date. And question number 1, what is an invasive species? An invasive species is any non-native species that is introduced to a new environment, whether that is accidentally or on purpose, that has a negative impact. So this is another great example. This is kudzu, and kudzu is not native to the United States. It was first introduced to help with erosion, and then it was used as like front porch decorations, like an ivy. And then this is what we're ending up with now. And you can even see this around town in Rock Hill. So question number 2 is, how do you stop it? How do you prevent an invasive species from happening? There are 3 main ways that we can prevent this from happening. So there's physical control, chemical control, and biological control. So physical control is actual barriers that prevent a species from entering a new environment. And this can also include physically removing that species. Chemical control, this would be applying some kind of poison like a pesticide or herbicide to eliminate that species. And then biological control is using other living organisms to reduce or completely eliminate that invasive species population. So in the case where you can control the invasive species using like a predator-prey type of relationship, that's another way that we can reduce that population. So you may think, well, why is that necessary? Why should we get rid of these invasive species? But even though they might be really cool or they might be fun, having these invasive species disrupts the ecosystem where they don't belong, like the pythons in the Everglades. It disrupts that ecosystem. Several years ago, they released lots of ladybugs in the mountains to help with the aphid population. Everything was getting demolished, and so they released ladybugs for biological control. So even though it could be something really cool or interesting, if it doesn't belong in that ecosystem, it can disrupt the ecosystem. So please make sure you get your notes and ask any questions in class if you have them.